All right, you guys. Now let's do some for loops here. We'll go through the examples. Okay, so here we go. You can look at the examples for loop. We're using the range. So what we want to do is count from 10 to 10 by 10, or 10 to 100 by 10s, okay? So we could use a for loop for that. So we can say for number in, and now I'm going to do the range, right? And so, whoa, I did a semicolon. Now the range, we go start, comma, end, comma, the step. So we want to start, right? If we go to the instructions, we want to start at 10, okay? Now you would normally think I want to end at 100, but it doesn't include the last number. So you could put 101, you could put 110, it doesn't matter. Anything just over 100 that won't let you get to the next thing, which would be 110. So we wouldn't want to put like 111 here. But 101, 102, 103, anything around there is fine. And then the step is how much we increase each time. So I want to increase by 10. Now all I want to do here is I want to print. And then you could have called this variable anything. Like often it's x or I, and we could say print x. I like using a good variable name. So for number, right, because it is a number. Sometimes I'll do for letter in word, for item in list, although item's kind of a generic word, but you know, you get the point, is using a variable that's clear. So let's double check this. 1 to 100, let's click check code. Awesome, submit and continue. And now we're actually gonna skip ahead here to, yeah, okay, we got the example. So here's the average test score. So we're still using the range, okay? Oh no, that's on a different one. This one we're calling the input, and then we're gonna use a loop, and then we're gonna do some arithmetic, okay? So let's see, so write a program that asks the user for 3 test scores, and then the program should then report the average of these 3 test scores. Okay, so first we'll ask for a test score. So we'll say, let's call it test score equals input. Let's see, was there an example? I don't see any example. So please enter a test score. Now, again, all inputs come in as strings. So what I want to do is turn this into, it doesn't say here if they're entering with ints or floats, so I'm going to be safe and go with floats. Okay, so that's asking for 1 input. But what we want to do is ask for 3. So here, let's do a quick for loop for x in range 3. So that's going to give me just a quick repeat 3 times loop, okay? Because the range 3, if you leave out the other attributes or the other arguments, other inputs, that will create 0, 1, 2, right? It will always start at 0 by default. It will end at 3, but it doesn't include 3. So it'll go 0, 1, 2. The next one would be 3, but it doesn't include the end. So it'll be 0, 1, 2. Okay, so that's a quick repeat 3 times. That's a way to do it. So we ask for the test score. Now, if we want to calculate the average, right, the program should then report the average. What we really need to do is keep track of the total. We need to add the 3 together. Now, we can't make a variable here and do it, right? We could do test score 1, test score 2, test score 3, but it's saying only use 1 input, right? And use a loop. So what we want to do is go total equals 0, okay? Now repeat 3 times and ask for a test score. Then each time, we want to say the total equals the old total plus the test score. Okay, so we're just going to add that test score to the total each time. So we start the total at 0, we get the first input, add it to the total. Then when this loop runs a second time, we overwrite the old test score. The old test score is gone, but it doesn't matter. We already added it to the total. So then we add the new test score to the total. And then the third time it runs, again, we delete the old test score. We're using the same variable each time. So we get a third test score, and we add it to the total. Then when the loop ends, after 3 times, we simply go the average equals the total divided by 3. And then we will, what, print it? Do they want? The program should then report the average. Report is kind of a vague word. So let's go print the average of your 3 test scores is plus the string version of average. Okay, let's try it. So let's run it. I'm going to do the average of... Man, the first time this runs, it takes a little time. Oh, we got all the time in the world here. How's your day going? Wonder what time you're watching this. Is it late night, early morning? Okay, there we go. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. The average is 2. Let's run. Whoa. Let's run it again with 1, 1, and 10. That would be a total of 12. Divided by 3, the average would be 4. There we go. So let's check the code. Kaboom! Submit and continue. Okay, let's look at the next one here. Okay. Some people have a first and last name. Some people also have a middle. Some people have 5 middle names. That's a lot, but it's true. Okay, write a program that asks how many names they have, and then yada yada. Then using a loop, ask for each. Finally, print their full name. Yep. You can yep. Okay. All right, so it's basically the same as the last one, where you started a total at 0 and then added numbers to it. Instead, we're going to start with a string that's the equivalent of 0. It's empty. So we're going to start with full name equals, and we start with a 0, but the equivalent string. And then every time we get a name, we just add to the string, right? So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to say we'll go to the assignment. First, I need to ask the question. I say number of names is the integer of input, because we want it to be a number. How many names do you have? Okay, that's a weird way to word it. How many names are in your full name? I don't know. That's a funny wording, but that's okay. No one's going to read it. It's just the computer's going to grade it, okay? So we get that number of names, and now we need to repeat that many times asking for a name. So if I want to repeat that many times, I'll go for X in range, num names. Remember, that's a quick way to repeat a number of times. If I say for X in range 5, that's a quick repeat 5 times. So here's a repeat this many times, okay? And then I'll say, actually, you know what? Yes, that's what we're going to do. Okay, so then we're going to go current name. So current name is my variable I'm using, is equal to, and then I'm going to ask input. What is, I don't know, the next name in your full name, right? We could incorporate this variable to say what is the 0th element, but I didn't want to deal with it first, 1 ST, second 2 ND. I didn't want to deal with those extra letters, or just say, what is your one name? That sounds funny. So what's the next name in your full name, okay? So we get the, say, first time, it's their first name. And then the second time, they'll say, oh, my middle name is. The third time, they'll say, okay, my next name is. And then each time what we want to do is we want to take the full name, and just like we mathematically added to the total, we want to add to this string. So we'll say we'll take the old full name, and we'll add the current name. Okay, again, I'm going to abbreviate this to plus equals. Okay, so we add the current name, and then we save it. So we're just concatenating is the word. So we're adding another string to the end. And then when the whole loop's over, we're going to print your full name is, and then I don't need to turn it into a string because it is a string already, full name. So let's test it out. I have, end of line. Oh, I missed the extra quote there. And I'm going to put a space in there too. All right, so that EOL error is that it reached the end of a line without all the things that got started ending. So it says you started a quote, and we reached the end of the line, EOL, without that quote ending. So that's what the error was. All right, so let's see. How many names are in your full name? 4. And the next name is Billy Bob Joe Duckler. So I didn't add a space. Okay, let's do do we want to get fancy with this? I don't think so. I'm just gonna say current name plus a space. So that'll put a space at the end, but whatever. Okay? Ready, set? Let's check the code again. And this time, let's say 4. And I'm Wonder Boy Joe Johnson. Your full name's Wonder Boy Joe Johnson. Nice. Did I type that random bracket? Sure. Let's check it. Boom, it works. Okay. I think that's it for this unit.